You are listening to the Postcast, presented by the Locked On Senators podcast and, of course, the Glebe Central Pub. Make sure to check out the Glebe Central Pub at 779 Bank Street. Great food, awesome drinks, and the Send Shuttle. Cannot imagine the vibe on the sold-out shuttle tonight on the way back to the pub after a huge overtime victory. 3-2 the final score. Brady Tkachuk with the winner. And the Ottawa Senators have not only won 3 games in a row, but when you wake up tomorrow morning, check out the standings. And the latest in a season, the Senators have been sitting in a playoff spot since 2017. I'm Ross Levitan. That's Jack Richardson. Jacko, what a game tonight, man. Ups and downs. You could tell the boys were tired, but they grinded out a victory and 2 more points in the standings.
That's all it is 2 points. You don't have to worry about giving Pittsburgh that loser point because you're not looking at down there in the standings. Now you start looking up, and we can talk about the standings a little bit later in the postcast. But, man, what a performance again from the Ottawa Senators, just on the second half of a back-to-back against a team that was waiting for you in Ottawa after gutting out a game in Carolina that no one expected you to win. It's still hard to turn around 24 hours later and get the win, not to mention with the exact same starting goalie in that Linus Ullmark absolutely stealing the show for parts of that game tonight. I'm running out of things to say about the starting goalie in Ottawa. He has just been unbelievable the last few weeks, absolutely turning the season around for the Sens.
It's now 7 unreal performances in a row for Linus Ullmark, who was not expected to start this game. I think the plan was Anton Forsberg. He pulls up pre-game while he's doing his stretches, and they had to get the e-bug in the house from the University of Ottawa, but they didn't need him because Linus Ullmark started this game with a bang. One of the best saves you'll see all season long, pulling the puck, like pulling his stick over a little bit so he's not holding it right at the spot he needs to, and just pulls an Erik Karlsson rebound right out of what would have been a sure goal. Huge save, and he continued that throughout. The blocker save on Sidney Crosby late in the second period to keep that 1-0 at the time. Sure, the Chris Letang goal, a bit of a seeing eye shot that tied the game at 2 in the third period, but he didn't see it with a Matt Nieto moving screen in front of the net. Didn't look great from TV, but I'm sure from where Linus was standing, next thing he knew, the puck was in the back of the net. Still an outstanding performance tonight from Linus Ullmark. No spoilers, but he could find himself as a Send Central standout. We've also got some hilarious post-game comments from Pittsburgh Penguins goalie Tristan Jarry, but we're not starting with that, Jack, because the captain, Brady Tkachuk, he had already set the franchise record for most overtime goals. This guy is as clutch as they come, and it was a bit of an overall quieter game from Brady Tkachuk, and I felt that way about Tim Stützle tonight, but they came up clutch when it mattered most.
I was actually going to say, like, I was ready to talk about them, just saying, you know what, the top guys didn't really have it tonight. Overall, the power play looked great. They didn't score, but they were clicking really high danger chances on both of their power plays, I thought. So that was kind of all you heard about from Tkachuk and Stützle and Norris and Batherson, just the top guys getting their looks on the power play. But then in overtime, man, Tim Stützle found another gear. He found some legs. Just like he pushes defenders back with his speed. And at 3-on-3, you absolutely have to respect Stützle and how dangerous he is. And I think because of that, Tkachuk gets that opportunity. The resume that Brady Tkachuk is starting to build in Ottawa, like the conversation is that, yeah, he hasn't played any playoff games. And the conversation around the league is that he needs to get into playoff games. He's not going to do it in Ottawa. They need to move him to somewhere where he can go play playoff games. The resume he's building here in Ottawa is that of a clutch goal scorer. The overtime goals Brady has scored in his career already have been clutch, and he hasn't even touched the playoffs yet. I cannot wait until that day comes. And with this win, obviously they're putting themselves in a spot here, and it's way early in the season to be making any proclamations by any means, but you could just see the difference in their game. I think goals like that just feel like almost a turning point. And not that it's a turning point now. They've been playing good hockey for a few weeks, but with Brady, it just feels different. Like that was a goal scorer's goal, Ross. And I can't put into words right now how impressive he's been this season overall.
A minute 46 into the extra frame, Brady Tkachuk's 15th goal of the season just put it 5-hole off of a 2-on-1 rush. Jake Sanderson with his 15th assist on the year gets the lone helper. The Senators open the scoring 7.5 minutes into the first period. Thomas Chabot's second of the campaign, assisted by Claude Giroux and Adam Gaudette. And Tristan Jarry, it's not a part of hockey, swimming away from the crease like that. My goodness, but Shabby made no mistake, and he put a whole lot of mustard behind it just to make sure that it would find the back of the net. By the way, the Ottawa Senators are now 13-2-0 when they score first in a game. That score held until the third period when Blake Lizotte pounded on a rebound 2 minutes and 40 seconds in. That tied it at 1. It stayed that way for about 4 minutes before Drake Batherson redirected a Thomas Chabot shot backdoor. He gets his 13th of the year, Chabot's 13th assist. Josh Norris draws the 8th helper of his campaign. And we already mentioned the Chris Letang seeing eye shot from the half wall. No assists on that play. We already talked about Linus Ullmark, first star in this game. He was spectacular when called upon. He made 25 saves, another performance with a .926 save percentage. Don't look now, but Linus Ullmark has a .910 save percentage on the season. It was .885 like 2 weeks ago. It's just, you cannot stress enough how much he has rebounded from his bad start. Ottawa outshoots Pittsburgh tonight, 31-27. Ottawa goes 0 for 2 on the power play. Pittsburgh, no penalties for Ottawa in this game. No power plays for the Penguins. Pittsburgh snaps back 54% of the draws. Ottawa with 17 blocks to Pittsburgh's 11. Penguins get 36 hits, Ottawa 32, and the Penguins had 60% of the expected goals percentage-wise at 5-on-5. Beyond the performance of the captain in overtime, what stood out most to you from tonight's game, Jack?
I think back-to-back games suck, and I think watching a team that you're expecting to compete now is more, that fact is more amplified. Like, they just didn't have a ton of energy, and you could tell by midway through the second period they were just dumping and changing as soon as they could. And that's not necessarily in survival mode. I think a lot of the times in the past they'd be holding on to a lead. Even at some points this season where they're getting rid of the puck because they're nervous to make a play or whatever. I didn't feel that tonight. I did just feel though that this was a team that you could tell played the night before, and it's really difficult. And that alone is big enough for why they got the 2 points. But if they came up empty-handed after that game, really, kind of pissing away a lead in the third period, I was ready to have some different discussions about why, this happens on the NHL schedule. And I'm not being here, I know what happens to every team, but when you think about it in the grand scheme of things, this is Ottawa's last home game until January 9th. It's almost a month until you play on home ice again, obviously based on the schedule with the World Juniors, that's going to happen. But how is that a product that you want to put on display? So anyway, I was happy that the Sens were able to pull through, and even all things considered, really impressed with their effort, given the fact that they played such a hard-fought game last night in Carolina and came out with the 2 points in that one. This would have been a big win if they lost in regulation last night. The fact that they strung those two together is huge. I don't think anyone expected them to go back-to-back like that. So getting like anything out of this game, even a point, I was happy with, Ross. That was just really impressive and a mature game from the Ottawa Senators, but it starts from the net out. Any discussion we have about this team, if Linus Ullmark is in net, everyone looks good. And the coach looks good. The defense looked good. The forwards look good. It's because of Linus Ullmark making some of those saves tonight.
And Brady Tkachuk spoke with Sportsnet's Sean McKenzie after the game and said that confidence reverberates through the entire team. They could tell, and Brady said he didn't even realize that Forsey got hurt, and he said he saw the trainer in the locker room just have a quick word with Ullmark, and he said he just went about his business. It was like nothing had happened, and you got to see an absolute mental, what would you call it? Like just
warrior.
Mental champion out there tonight, just saying, hey, whatever comes my way, all good, boys. I got this.
And look, like I think Ullmark, he looked tired too. I don't think that's crazy to say. Like he does get up slowly generally when he stops the play, but I think tonight just a couple plays he looked a little more tired, which is completely fair. I don't know the math off the top of my head, but the amount of saves he made in a 24-hour span is ridiculous. And I think, we can have this discussion now. I'm not going to say I was wrong about Forsberg because he didn't get to play, but there's still that concern with me. It's like, you don't want to overwork Ullmark. You want to keep him playing well and feeling good. So I hope this doesn't become a precedent for them where they're like, oh, you know what? This road trip, play every single game. I don't think that's super sustainable, but in this instance, when you're thrown into the fire, Forsberg could have been pulled in the first period for all we know. Like Ullmark has to be ready when you're backing up on a bench. So for him to come in knowing that he was going to back up and then pregame, whatever time it was, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, finding out you're going to start, you're tired probably from the night before. Just, I said it before, I'm running out of things to say about Linus Ullmark. Like Ross, we've seen some unbelievable goaltending runs in Ottawa, and I'm not coming on here saying this was the biggest win since 2017. I've already done that. That was in early November against the Bruins. But we're starting to see one of the most impressive goaltending performances I can remember as an Ottawa Senators fan. And I'm thinking about everything. I'm thinking Hamburglar run, Craig Anderson 2017, Mike Condon 2017. What Ullmark is doing is unheard of in this market. And we were talking about this being a goaltending graveyard. Even at this season, I thought that they were cursed because of his play early on. But he's turned it around and proven that he is a elite goaltender in the NHL. And man, I don't know what else to say about him. It's fun having him back there playing well.
Well, 25 saves for Linus Ullmark, but I want to key in on Josh Norris's block with 4 minutes left in this game. The play was pretty consistently in Ottawa's zone there for a couple minutes. They were on their heels, and it looked like an ability where the defenseman could walk in and just rip it. No, Josh Norris was having none of it. He hobbled to the bench. The boys absolutely love that. They're picking up one another. I think that's the team element that the Sens are seeing right now. And going back to what Brady said to Sean McKenzie too, he said this was almost word for word, where he said 2-3 weeks ago, we would have found a way to piss that away in regulation. The mental strength and what they've learned from those losses. I'm not on the bench, but I can only imagine it was a much more calm demeanor this time. Instead of how often, Jack, early in the season, the Vegas game in particular, the Colorado game that was tied, those two are on the road, but at home against Philly, where you're just like, uh-oh, here we go again. This time, they were able to dig their heels in, tired on the second half of back-to-back with travel, and put pressure on enough to get the win. Now, there were a couple moments in overtime that had me worried. Thomas Chabot gives the puck away to Evgeny Malkin, 2-on-0 in tight, or 2-on-1 in tight, I should say, but he was able to get to the net. And Ullmark makes a huge save there too. Like, it all comes back to the goalie, but what the players are doing themselves to help each other, I think that's going to go a long way for this 9-game road trip where they're going to have to pick each other up every night.
Yeah, you don't win on the road unless you're a team. And not to quote the infamous Pierre Dorion interview from a few years ago, God, how far the Sens have come since then. Let's just soak that in for a bit, where he froze on live television with Hockey Night in Canada after trading Erik Karlsson, who played tonight, and said that we are a team. But you don't win on the road if you aren't all in it together. And I think, Tkachuk spoke to it a little bit with Ullmark's confidence kind of leaking through the group. And it's not just one guy, but his position obviously matters. But when you've got that from such an important position, it's obvious that it's trickling through. What I wanted to bring up is that third period, because it was pretty hectic, right? Like, the Penguins score twice, Sens score once with Batherson that Tristan Jarry doesn't think should count. But I think what stands out to me is I want to give the coaches a little bit of love here, because that bottom six, we talked about it last night, Ross, how important they're going to be in a back-to-back situation. They rolled them a lot in the third period in Carolina. Jensen getting rewarded, that third line getting a couple goals last night. But tonight, what stands out to me is the fourth line gets scored on, right? They were on the ice for that Blake Lizotte goal, and it might have been, maybe it's Shabbat and Jensen, I think, for both of them. But it was the fourth line. It was a Stopchuk, Greg, and Gregor. They didn't miss a shift. They didn't sit them down. They didn't shorten the bench, because you need them. And they go out and look, Greg missed his opportunity, but gets two really good looks, a breakaway off the crossbar. A Stopchuk gets another good look. And they might have been on the ice for Letang's goal as well, or some of them were mid-change. So they're dashed too. And like, I think in scenarios like that, it would have been easy for Green to just ride the horses, say you're stapled to the bench. And now, given they probably played a couple shifts after that, but to me, that's telling. If you're the coach and you want this group, this young team, to learn how to win together, a lot of those guys on those lines are young. Like, Greg and Ostapchuk are basically rookies still. Ostapchuk is, and Greg played half a season last year. These are young players who need to learn. So just keep throwing them out there, get them out there against the top guys, against Crosby, against Letang. Let them figure it out. And they're doing that and winning hockey games, only going to breed positive results to me.
It certainly will. Just like tonight, the Ottawa Senators win 3 games for the first time this season in a row and will wake up in the second wildcard spot. And we're keeping our eye on those Tampa Bay Lightning, who are right now playing the Seattle Kraken. That game is tied at 1. Did I get that right, by the way? Because there's 2 games we're watching right now. Yes, the other one is Boston and Vancouver. Boston's up 2-0 early. Kraken and Lightning tied at 1. We've got Pilsy standing by. We'll get to him in a moment. We'll get to our Sen Central standouts. We'll go with what Tristan Jarry said after this game and a whole lot more. But first, I have to tell you about the Glebe Central Pub, because the Postcast would not exist without it. Our friends at the Glebe Central Pub, they're committed to making a family fun atmosphere in the heart of the Glebe. You can find them at 779 Bank Street. You can go there for awesome food, great drinks, awesome atmosphere too. But not only that, how about the Send Shuttle? For only $17 round trip, you can go to and from the CTC. Now, with a 9-game road trip coming up, oh man, that's a long time. No, not with the GCP bus, because for $20 round trip, there will be shuttles for every Team Canada game during the World Juniors. So if you were looking to go see Canada play at the CTC, get your tickets and your ride at the Glebe Central Pub. You can get your tickets online, glebecentralpub.com, and make sure to follow them on social media, Glebe Central Pub on both Instagram and on Twitter. It's the Glebe Central Pub, where the vibes are free at the GCP. Support us by supporting the Glebe Central Pub, your home in the heart of the Glebe. Tonight's Postcast also brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to win real money on sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. Just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. It's America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. Prize Picks also invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out even if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. So join today. Download the app and use code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's the Prize Picks app. Code LOCKEDONNHL, $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. All right, welcome back to the Postcast. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Jack Richardson here after a 3-2 Senators win over the Pittsburgh Penguins. I'm laughing at the name of our next guest here. Pilsy, what's up, buddy?
Hey, guys. I'm just here at the Fernie Ghost Riders game, celebrating an Ottawa Senators win with all my friends.
Hey, all your friends like Linus Ullmark. What'd you think of that performance?
I mean, this guy is so incredible. Like, what would we do without Linus Ullmark? Anton Forsberg gets injured before the warm-ups even start, and Ullmark comes in hot. I know Sens fans are jumping on me. I've never been happier to be this wrong. I'll take the 4 points. Let's go. First 3-game win streak of the season, and it's a big one. Brady Tkachuk scoring the overtime winner. I love it.
So next weekend at Vancouver, at Edmonton, start Ullmark both those games?
Start Ullmark every game. I'm throwing rational thinking out the window. Just play him every game. He wins when he's in. I'm not gonna backtrack or try to explain myself. When Ullmark plays, he wins. So screw it. Play him every game.
All right, Pilsy, we appreciate you jumping on for a couple minutes. Enjoy the game tonight, and we will chat Monday on the Locked On Senators podcast. That's Brandon Pillar, absolute beauty, facing the music here, and he's been hearing it on Twitter all weekend long. What an absolute stud. Jack, your thoughts?
Well, I just think it's a big man of Pilsy to stand up there. I wish we could have got him last night because that comment just about throwing the towel in for Carolina still bugging me a little bit. But
scheduled loss.
A scheduled loss. Like, I don't think anything's a scheduled loss for the Ottawa Senators now. I'm ready to get reckless, Ross. I'm ready to get absolutely ahead of myself, man. But yeah, it's good to see it, especially for the two of you. I know we're not getting ahead of ourselves here, but this is winning hockey, and we're watching a winning hockey team. It feels good, man, and well deserved here at LOSP. So it's good to see Pilsy, even though he's on vacation for these two big wins, but getting in the mix here.
Oh, he has to get in the mix. And look, before we get to our Sen Central standouts, of which there are many, I've been waiting for this, Jack. I've been waiting to pull up the standings. And as I mentioned, Boston and Tampa still in action. Boston currently in the third position in the Atlantic Division, although Ottawa still has a couple of games in hand there. They're now 1 point back of Boston with one game in hand now. Will be two at the end of the night. I
was going to say, Ross, can you scroll up so we can just look at the full playoff picture and not the scrubs below the wild cards?
I'm trying
I
to
guess as many.
There we go.
Perfect. That's excellent. I like that view right there. And that's what the Sens should be looking at. Boston and Tampa aren't that far away. If you keep winning, anything's possible. I think we're learning that right now, because since that 5-game losing streak, the Ottawa Senators are 7-2-1. See that in the far right column there, a 3-game win streak, 7-2-1 in their last 10. Also 7-2-1 in the Lily Levitan era.
Unreal.
So it's crazy how that's lining up, and I think it's absolutely a storyline right now. We've mentioned that before.
It's only going to be a matter of time before the national media picks up on it once they put their pens down on ridiculous Brady Tkachuk. I couldn't believe the one today, but it doesn't. Ridiculous.
We're not going to talk about specific things that have been going out. The last 2 days is ridiculous in my opinion, but I'll get you to scroll back down one more time, actually.
Oh, you want me to scroll down? I didn't think we associated with teams below.
Well, I'm wondering, why would Brady Tkachuk go waste his prime years with a team below the Ottawa Senators in the standings? I don't understand what the rationale is behind that. So let's just take, the best discussion, I think, this week, which started with Michael Andlauer really setting the league ablaze by saying it was soft tampering by the Rangers. Whether or not that's actually true, he stood up for their captain, and look how the team's responded since. 3 dominant wins in a row since Michael Andlauer stood up for his captain. And I think that's what's impressive about this, and the fact that it's Brady getting the goal. But that's what's the biggest answer to all these Tkachuk ridiculous trade rumors was to win hockey games. And they're doing that right now. So we got to enjoy it while we can right now, because it's still a gauntlet coming up on the road. We don't know where this team's going to be in a month, but you can't do anything better than for yourself better than winning hockey games going into that tough stretch. So just impressive from the Sens, man. I'm running out of things to say.
I'm going to assume, and I mean, we had a comment here. I want to give proper credit where it's due. Matt Ward mentioning Ullmark Player of the Week month. Well, the 3 stars of the week will come out on Monday, and it would be wild if Linus Ullmark is not one of them. Like what he has done with 3 starts this week, 1 goal against Anaheim, and even that give the ref an assist for getting in the way off a clearing attempt late in the third period. Then against Carolina, a shutout. Then coming in a second half back-to-back at home and putting up a .926 save percentage, only allowing 2 goals and making some highlight reel saves while he's at it. Like, obviously, we're not in tune with every single storyline going around the league this week. I know that Mikko Rantanen and Nathan MacKinnon each had a 5-point night earlier this week, but like Linus Ullmark is up there with the best of the best performances that we've seen. And it couldn't happen to a better guy who had a tough start to his career in Ottawa after the home opener. Obviously got off to a red hot start against the Florida Panthers, but to get these 3 wins in a row this week and have your starter in goal for all of them, like that's got to be just enough to get you on the map league wide.
Like there's a reason I'm talking Vezina, I'm talking all these superlatives to talk about Linus Ullmark, because it's carrying the team out of a slump. And yeah, he was in net for that 5-game losing streak a lot. I think he was in net for 4 of them. And he cost them that Philly game. It's not a secret. He wasn't great in most of those games as well. But what he's been able to do is just solidify the most important position for the Ottawa Senators. And we've been talking about it for years. They just need good goaltending. What's the record with over 900 save percentage? It's ridiculous. It's by far a playoff team. So when you get that good goaltending and not just over 900, they're getting 940 save percentage, 950, 960, and shutouts from Linus Ullmark. He's carrying the team right now. I would go as far as to say he's been their MVP so far this season, based on how he's been able to turn it around for them. I know Tim Stützle, Brady Tkachuk have been outstanding, but to me, that's how good Linus Ullmark has been. And it's what we expected when they went and made a move for a goalie, but they've done that 4 years in a row now, Ross. They did Matt Murray, Cam Talbot, Jonas Korpisalo, and now Ullmark. So it's been a long time coming for the Sens. They finally found their guy, and he's playing like more than that, in my opinion. He's not just getting them the saves they need. He's doing much more.
Since November 25th, no goalie in the National Hockey League has more than the 6 wins of Linus Ullmark. Jacob Markstrom is 6-1-1, but he's played 2 more games than Linus Ullmark. Ullmark 6-0-1 here, and I guess Markstrom didn't get credit for a win or a loss in one of those because he's 6-1-1, but a .950 save percentage, Jack, in his last 7 games. .950.
That's ridiculous. That's not even like a good game mixed with a kind of an okay game, like 2-3 games, not even just a week like we're talking about. 7 games is a sample size for goaltenders. That is outstanding. .950. That's 95% of the shots he's seeing are not getting past him. It's unbelievable. And I can't imagine the confidence going through that room right now, knowing like how invincible must you feel as the Ottawa Senators right now, knowing you've got that guy back there. You are not scoring more than 3 goals on Linus Ullmark right now. You need to not let up 2 goals against this offense that has been relatively quiet the last 2 games, all things considered.
I just found out something that I need to share with you. And I'm going to do it when I tell you about FanDuel, because you can always tackle the action on FanDuel. It's America's #1 sportsbook. And over at FanDuel, new customers can get started with a $5 bet. And if that $5 bet hits, you will get $150 in bonus bets. That's guaranteed by going to FanDuel.com. If you win your first $5 bet, you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets. Jack, I'm on FanDuel's website right now. If you bet $5 on Linus Ullmark to win the Vezina and he wins it, you'll get $500 back.
Listen, I am not a good gambler. I'll put it up there. Responsibly, I like to bet on things that have no chance in hell of hitting. This is something that can hit.
Plus I placed 10,000 odds right now at FanDuel.
He is, I mean, if he hadn't done it before, I would maybe question it. You know what I mean? I'd be like, I don't know, but he did it 2 seasons ago and he had one of the best seasons a goalie has ever had. So it's not out of the realm of possibility he could win the Vezina. I think right now he's a top 5 Vezina candidate. I don't think that's
why not us? Why not now? So go to FanDuel. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more over at FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the Locked On Podcast Network. Tonight's Postcast also brought to you by Indeed. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. They're driven by the search for better. And with Indeed, you don't search, you match. And if you need to hire, you need Indeed. It has over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data. So ditch the busy work and use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Indeed doesn't just help you hire faster, although that's great. 93% of employers agree that Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites. That's according to a recent Indeed survey. So listeners of our show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/locked-on. Just go to Indeed.com/locked-on right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/locked-on. Terms and conditions apply. You need to hire? You need Indeed. All right, Jack, here we are. Sens Central standout. Sens win 3-2 in overtime against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Third overtime win against Pittsburgh in the last calendar year. Tim Stützle scored the winner December 23rd of last year. And then in March, it was Drake Batherson. Tonight, it was Brady Tkachuk, the captain. Jack, we already did an entire segment on Linus Ullmark. Is it going to be as easy as that for your first standout tonight?
I have a proposition for the Sens Central standout segment of the Postcast. Is Linus Ullmark just his own category at this point? Because he almost feels like a waste of a pick because every single night he is a Sens Central standout, like you mentioned. So I'm not going to go with Linus Ullmark. I'm going to go with the captain, who we also already talked about. Brady Tkachuk belongs in Ottawa. Brady Tkachuk loves the Ottawa Senators more than I think anyone else loves the Ottawa Senators. You can tell by the way this guy reacts to wins like that. Last night, I thought was really telling the way he went and hugged Ullmark after that game. Like he's a leader and he's a guy you want on your team, on your side. I'm saying all the things that Sens fans know, but I'm reiterating the fact of how valuable Brady Tkachuk is. I think I can't wait to go see him at this tournament in the Four Nations and see him with all this talent and everything like that. But what's exciting to me about Brady Tkachuk is just the way he gets excited for his teammates. And I think that's what I saw tonight and last night with the way he went over to Ullmark. He scores an overtime winner on a Saturday night at home, sellout crowd, goes right to his goalie after his celebration. So I just think Brady Tkachuk, I again, running out of things to say about this guy, but we're watching him become a Senators legend in front of our eyes, Ross.
Did you say running? You said running, right?
I might have.
Well, By A just pointed this video out to us, and we have Lalime's Martian standing by, boots on the ground report. He just got home. I want to give credit to who took this video. Ryan, Muggers_hockey. You know how the Ottawa Senators had an e-bug tonight? They had an e-bug. The goalie for the University of Ottawa. Well, not only did he show up to the game wearing a signed Josh Norris jersey, thought he was going to be a fan tonight. We've got video from Ryan Muggers of the goalie. I need to find out a name here of who this was, because what we are about to show you might be one of the most wild things I think I've ever seen. I need to find.
I'm on the edge of my seat right now.
What's the goalie's name? Dietz?
Yeah, D-I-E.
Zach Dietz. Zach Dietz. Well, the beauty's in the details. And here is Zach Dietz running across the highway with his gear and a Josh Norris jersey.
Oh my God. That's unbelievable.
This is the most incredible video. Thank you to Ryan Muggers for sending that on Twitter.
And the best part is the cars driving have no idea what this guy's doing. There's no way they have any idea what this guy's doing.
They think he's playing a beer league game at the Sensplex and he's just running over and he's got to put his gear in the car before going to the game.
That's hilarious. Oh my God. You got to get, my guess is he was in traffic trying to get into the game and he just got out of the car. Like some of us do maybe on the bus when we need to go to the bathroom on the GCP shuttle, heading to the Canadian Tire Center. But that is unbelievable.
That's one of the best things I have ever seen. Shout out to Eric Dietz. We got to get this guy on the pod. We are getting this guy on the pod. Martian, what'd you think of that video?
Holy crap, that's insane. And that's obviously the first time I've seen it. I was laughing my head off looking at that. Like, what the hell? Somebody pick this guy up and let him in the car and get him in there. Oh, that's like, and the best part is you can see the CTC in the background too, right? It's like, he's heading there, boys. He's going to play tonight.
Great camera work. Great camera work by the guy in the passenger seat. Safely videoing that when you're behind the wheel.
Yep, very safe. Martian, your thoughts on the game tonight?
Well, I mean, boys, it was a little bit nerve-wracking towards the end there when the Penguins ended up tying it up. I was a three-way money line guy tonight, so I got rinsed on the sports betting book, but good for them to show the resilience they needed. I knew that overtime was going to be over quick one way or another, and who else but the captain, right? He's going to come in. He's going to be doing his thing, making sure that the boys get the 2 points tonight. So that's in honor of that. I'm wearing this hat tonight, this to captain shirt or hat. It's a beauty. This got dropped off to me where I was sitting by Zoob Hats. Remember Zoob Hats?
Yeah. We ran into him in Montreal too when we saw him earlier this season. Beauty.
Such a nice guy, and he came by real quickly and just dropped this off for me. This is a 1-of-1 hat, but I think he might be. So keep your eyes open on this. He might be doing a little bit of a drop on some hats that are similar to this. He was wearing a Jimmy Stu one tonight. He was white with the red and red lettering. So he's got it going on with the hat game right now. So I'm look at this, boys. I mean, come on, that looks sharp. No,
you know what looks sharper than that?
Descends in a wild card spot in the standings.
2 games above 500.
That too.
Woo!
Would you guys rather be, because they're both right now, before we get to the rest of the Sen Central standouts, we did one Martian. I don't know if you caught it. I took the captain.
Yeah, I heard you.
That's I got enough. I can't figure out enough things to say about the captain. What a clutch performance. Would you guys rather be 2 games above 500 or in a playoff spot at this point in the season? I know they have both. They have both. If you had to pick one, though, I feel like the over 500 is a bigger morale booster for the Sens, because the playoff picture is whoever's, you never know what the other teams are going to do. 2 games above 500 is huge.
And that's in your control, right? You can't control what other teams are doing, what their schedules are. You playing Western teams more, whatever the case may be. But to control yourself and be able, I mean, for me, it's winning 3 games in a row for the first time this year on their 5th attempt to do it. They'd won twice in a row, 4 separate times going into tonight's game, but being able to get the victory 3 in a row to me is the biggest thing. So that leads me to say being above 2 games above 500 is definitely my favorite. The Senators will have an opportunity to make it 4 in a row on Tuesday, 10 p.m. start against the Seattle Kraken. The Ottawa Senators already shutting out the Kraken earlier this year on home ice. All right, so Jack's got the Brady Tkachuk call. Look, I've already spoken so highly of him. I'm going to just let Martian hopefully take who I think he will. But Martian, you're up, buddy. Your first Sen Central standout presented by the Glebe Central Pub.
So just remind me, Jack took Ullmark?
No, he took Brady Tkachuk.
Well, then I'm taking Linus Ullmark. This is a no-brainer for me. This guy was unbelievable tonight. Boys, that paddle save that he made in the first period was one of the best saves I've ever seen in person in my life, and it happened right in front of me. It was incredible. That was a huge moment in the game too, when the Sens were up 1-0. They needed to keep that thing where it was, and he I mean, I don't even know how he got a stick on that thing and made that save. It was sick. I didn't even get to see the replay, boys. I just have my memory is dialed into what I saw, and I saw just a sick save. That's got to be a goal of the year candidate here. And then he made a couple other saves later in the game that were also incredible saves. And it looked just like last night, where he was just like kicking everything out, controlling every single rebound. He only allowed 2 goals tonight. The first one he had absolutely no chance on. And then, the second one he didn't see. So for me, with Linus Ullmark tonight, I think he had just another incredible game. And I don't have it pulled up in front of me here, Ross. Sorry. I don't know what his save percentage was tonight, but I'm willing to guess it was yet again above 900. And he's continuing this trend of looking like, the best starting goalie that we've seen since Craig Anderson. So for me, I got to go with Linus Ullmark tonight. He was awesome, boys. Like, just kicking him out. Like I'm not even kidding. It was a joke how good he looked.
.926 save percentage tonight, Martian, and I teed you up for that because we basically spent the first 30 minutes of this show talking about how great Linus Ullmark was. So glad to have a different voice.
Just thanks for letting me have a swing at it.
Hey, buddy, that's what we do here. We're just snapping it around. My first of two Sens Central standouts tonight will be Thomas Chabot. And I almost revoked this after the giveaway in overtime, but no harm, no foul, and all game long, Thomas Chabot was utilizing his speed, making great decisions with the puck, scores a goal, gets an assist off of a deflection off really his shot after controlling play in the offensive zone before that. He was doing his best prime EK65, his best impression of him during this entire game. So I just want to give some love to Thomas Chabot. I know I did last night as another standout. I just think he is on all kinds of a good roll right now. So lots of respect for what I'm seeing from Thomas Chabot, and I think he was a deserving Sens Central standout tonight. Jack, what do you think of his performance?
He's getting more confident. Like we mentioned the other night with Jensen, he's just taking more chances. He was activating a lot more in the offensive zone. Him and Stützle had a couple nice exchanges. When Tim comes up high in the zone, you need the defenseman to get their legs going to push the forwards back down when you're cycling like that. And I think they had that one shift. They didn't end up getting a shot or a high danger chance, but Stützle, Jensen, and Chabot just buzzed around the offensive zone in the second period, and it was fun to watch. And Chabot's back, man. Chabot's back. He's playing well. He's putting his body on the line, blocking shots, playing smart for the most part, like you mentioned with those giveaways, but so good to see him back.
Oh, love to see it. How do you look in the building tonight, Marsh?
No, I mean, dude, everybody looked incredible, but yeah, I mean, for sure, he looked great. He's going 10-2, like he's skating around, and he's managed. His minutes are managed now, which is nice. He's able to actually, when he needs to, accelerate and put more oomph into every shift, and I think that is probably the biggest thing with him right now is he's not he doesn't go into every game knowing that he's going to play 28 to 30 minutes a night. He's going in there. He knows he's going to be around that 25-minute mark, and he's going to be able to do the things that he needs to do to succeed. And then obviously Jensen just being there with him is something that you can't really say enough about. The level that Chabot is at right now is really only because Nick Jensen is what he is, and he's trusted as a partner. It must be nice for Chabot. He's having fun out there. You can tell.
Yeah, he certainly is. Great performance from Thomas Chabot. And I don't know if you saw, you just said he's around 25 minutes. Played 24:59 tonight. So you're right on the money with Chabot's ice time in tonight's game. Had 2 shots on goal, 2 blocks as well, 28 shifts as well, which I like. That's under a minute per shift, which we did not see often during the DJ Smith era. So nice to see him getting quick shifts and having more gas left in the later parts of the game. All right, so that's my first Sens Central standout. I think we can snap it around one more time. Don't you guys think?
Sure. 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, you're up then, Ross.
I am up. I got to make an informed decision here. I'm just trying to think back to anyone who really caught my attention during this game. You know what? I briefly mentioned it, but I want to give him more of a shine for the entire game. I thought Josh Norris looked good overall tonight. Gets that assist. I mentioned the block shot with 4 minutes left. Just ate that for the team. So I want to give him some love there. And just what he's been able to do. I know it was a tough night in the dot for a lot of Ottawa Senators. He still goes 46.7%, going up against Sidney Crosby in a lot of key faceoffs. I'm pulling it up right now. He went 5 for 12 against Sidney Crosby, and he went 2 for 3 against everybody else. So when 87 was in the dot, 9 was in the dot for Ottawa. And for Ottawa to make a push towards the playoffs and maybe even more, they're going to need him to be their matchup center against the other team's top one to free up Timmy for a little bit more offensive look. So I thought that was as good of a performance as you're going to see without scoring a goal for the guy who was put on earth to bury pucks. So Josh Norris will be my second standout.
Yeah, I like it. Ross, he kind of looks very comfortable lately, right? He just he's zipping around out there. He's making good plays. He's quiet in the neutral zone. I'd like to see him get a little bit more engaged in that neutral zone area, Ross. I think that's one area he can improve. He doesn't seem like he really wants to carry the mail, and the Sens only have so many guys who can actually get up and down that way. So I think that Josh Norris is playing well, and especially in the offensive zone, that's where he really wants the puck. But right now, I think that if he can just start carrying the puck a little bit more through the neutral zone, I think Josh Norris is going to even stand out even further than he did tonight.
Boys, I've been looking for this Tristan Jarry clip because I just want to play it. I don't know. Did you see the quote, Martian?
I caught a quick glimpse of it.
Okay, don't look at it. Don't look at it. Wait until we pull it up. But first, let's snap it back around. Then, Martian, you're up with a standout.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'm just going to make it quick and easy. It's the same as always. This guy's been the most consistent player on the team on the offensive side of the puck, and that's Tim Stützle. He just looked incredible again tonight. I know he didn't have any points. He was a +1, solid 20-21 on ice tonight for Timmy, but he was shooting the puck a lot more. I thought he was really engaged in this game. I think it's actually a shame that he didn't come away with any points because of the way he was playing out there. The offense runs through him. The power play runs through him. He is a sickening player to watch, and he's worth the price of admission. I've said this 1,000 times, and it's more and more true every time I go and see him because he gets better every game. But Tim Stützle was amazing tonight, boys. Like, this guy's handles, the way he shoots the puck now, and like he's always looking to make a play. And that's something that you can't say enough about it, because as soon as the puck gets on his stick, you know something's going to happen. And that's why you always have to give it to the German.
That last thing you said about him shooting the puck is what I liked about his game so much tonight. I don't know how many shots he ended up with, but had 2 really good chances that missed the net that I'm sure missed by just that much. He was all over it tonight, and he's ripping the pill.
Yeah.
And
I mean, especially that late one. I don't know if I wasn't in overtime. I don't think it may have been, though. It was in overtime. Yeah, he had a look and he went for it, and that's all you can ask from the kid. So he's looking great, boys. Like, oh my god, it's so sick that we're gonna be able to watch this guy now for the next 6 years, 7 years in this building. It's like he's a blessing, boys. He's so good. He's so good.
Yeah. 4 shots on goal for Tim Stützle tonight, and even more attempts. I'll pull up the attempts here real quick because he did miss a couple opportunities where I was like, oh man, he did all the work to get there. You're like, oh, it would have been great if he could have buried one. I feel like he always does well against Pittsburgh. Remember, like, I think it was 3 years ago now, but he was on that long goal drought, and then he finally scored. I think it was his first goal of the year against the Pittsburgh Penguins. And got the event summary up here. 4 shots on goal and 3 missed the net. So 8 shot attempts overall. One was blocked.
He loves that Crosby matchup. I think he comes to play when it comes to that. The one thing I will say, he just can't handle the face-off dot right now. I know it's funny. Like, you always see, he always ends up with either Giroux or Tkachuk on his wing, and one of those guys is going to take the face-off over him because he's struggling in the dot right now. He's 20% tonight.
Or
1 for 5.
Yeah, he'll figure that out eventually, man. I think, but if he's got guys on his wing who can take it, it's not really a concern for me at this point, to be honest.
Yeah, we're not talking about the negatives anyways.
No.
and I'm not gonna imagine like there's probably guys out there who are looking at Tim Stützle being like, he can't take face-offs, so he's not a centerman. It's ridiculous. He's outstanding.
I got a wild stat for you, just so I'm looking at face-off numbers. You know, Sidney Crosby took more than half of the Penguins face-offs tonight.
Wow.
26 out of 50.
I do feel like I looked up and saw him taking draws a lot. So that kind of
26 out of 50 draws.
It's unbelievable that Penguins team has no one outside of him anymore. Like, and he's not making that much money. I don't have to get into the Penguins, not the Locked On Penguins, but I'm going with my last Send Central standout. I'm going with a guy whose name has not been mentioned for quite some time. It's Jake Sanderson. I think Jake Sanderson had glimpses of what's made him so elite early on this season and in his career to this point. I don't think it was a perfect game from him, but given what he's been like the last month, let's say, I don't know if he's fighting something and he's starting to get over it, but he looked like he had more legs tonight. And I think, honestly, him and Travis Hamonic didn't look terrible together tonight. They made some nice plays, avoiding the forecheck for the most part. I don't know about that third period for Hamonic specifically, but Sanderson, I think just you can see it starting to come together a little bit. Had a nice pass up to Tkachuk for his overtime winner, which counts as an even strength point for Jake Sanderson, I should add. So I wanted to point out 85 because I think he's probably been the Senator who struggled the most lately. So I thought he had a good game. I thought he had a good game tonight and he deserves a shout.
Dude, even Travis Hamonic, one of his better games to date. I thought he played well in this one. Not a real weak link in sight, Martian. Oh, you got you on the mute. That's usually my play. I got you.
I didn't see a single slap shot out of which is a surprise because I was kind of pointing out to people around me tonight. They're not usually watching Sens games, so I go, watch this. Every time he gets the puck, he takes slap shots.
And he made you look silly tonight. You want to talk about looking silly tonight? Slap shots are a good way to score a goal, but usually getting in scoring positions means you have a chance to score, and that's what Drake Batherson did side door. But Tristan Jarry, not a fan of that. And I had the quote, but our friend Abraham in the comment section got me the right path. So I've actually got Tristan Jarry talking. They cut out his SHIT word here, but here is Tristan Jarry's thoughts on Drake Batherson's then go-ahead goal, what ultimately was the second goal of the game. Here's Tristan Jarry.
What did he like? What didn't he like about this goal?
Well, why don't we just listen to the clip? He'll tell you what he didn't like about it. Here's Tristan Jarry, courtesy of Sportsnet Pittsburgh.
Are you guys giving any thought to challenging Batherson's goal that made it 2-1, where he stuck his skate out there?
I don't know how you take that out of the game, but I don't think you should be allowed to stand there and just let the guy shoot off you. And I think it's almost impossible to stop. Like, he gets position on our player and he just parks himself at the back post and their guy just shoots it off him. It's a tough play, and I think it's not part of hockey.
Yeah,
it's not a part of hockey.
It's a part of hockey. It's the biggest part of hockey. Get dirty, get down there, get in front of the net. Like, what the heck?
Sidney Crosby's probably scored 300 goals side door where he just goes down on one knee and it hits him. Like,
that's a great point.
That's Sidney Crosby's go-to move.
That's a great point, Ross. And
we got to get this out of the game, boys. We got to get this out.
The best part, I'm glad we waited for the video. He is choked. That was like, that loss hurt him for some odd reason. I don't know why specifically, but like
he's trying to stay in the league.
Probably. And like I that's ridiculous, man. Can you imagine if that came out of the Ottawa locker room?
I don't think never let them hear the end of it.
I don't think you should be able to do that. I don't think it should be in the game. He shouldn't be allowed to stand there. He's outside of the crease and puts his skate on the outside of the crease. He just beat you to the post. That's all that happened. Crazy. That's crazy.
So Dude, I've actually got
it makes no sense. It was a great play. That's the net front play. That's what you want. As a guy who was a goalie, from Tristan Jarry's perspective, like, what do you mean you need to take this out of the game? Like
the way he talked about it,
they call an easy goal on you, bro. Like, they're gonna pass it out front. You're gonna have no chance. You can't.
That's where Drake Batherson was when the shot was taken. That's
Batherson
positioning.
You'd think he was sitting on top of him the way he was talking about it. Like I don't know how you take that out of the game. Like that's like the way you talk about dirty plays and everything like that.
Take it out of the game, boys. Take it
out of here. Oh,
I don't know how you do it, but we need to find a way. I
don't know how
you get an inquiry on this.
I don't know how
do you take this. You know how you take that out of the game?
But we got to get rid of this kind of thing. I'm sick of getting scored on net front. It's horrible.
You know how you take that out of the game? You get Nick Jensen on your team to shut down the back door so you can't sneak one back to Drake Batherson for his 13th of the season, who, by the way, also had a great game tonight. I should have mentioned him as a standout. I think Batherson was all over it. What a ridiculous quote.
Score that goal because we got to take that goal out of the game. That's the kind of goal we got to take out of the game, guys.
And the best part is, I mentioned it's his own teammate, Sidney Crosby. Well, how many of Crosby's goals do you think Nova Scotia native Drake Batherson's watched in his career? I bet you that's right out of his playbook.
I kind of want Batherson to get asked about it. I just want to see his reaction. Or anyone, any player. I want to ask someone on Pittsburgh. Ask Crosby. Ask the captain. One of the best players in the world.
You got to take that out of the game, guys. You got to take that out of the game.
We can't.
That right there is too much. You got to take. I don't know how we do it, but we got to take that out of the game.
Backdoor tap-ins. Damn it.
You know how with Timmy, how that goal in Carolina in the first game, everyone counts it as one. So whatever his total is, it's like +1 on the year because that should have counted. For Batherson now, we should do -1 and put a little Tristan Jarry, little asterisk, a link to his quote every time. Batherson has 13 on the season, but 1 shouldn't have counted, guys.
We got to get that out of the game.
We got to get that out of the game.
Hey, you know what? We got to get seeing eye wristers from the point out of the game because they're not fun, right? It's not fair. The goalie couldn't see it. There was a screen. He can't see it.
I don't know how we do it, boys, but we got to take that out of the game.
Hey, let us know in the chat. You got any ideas of how we can take that out of the game? Spiegler says Batherson's been fined $2,000 by the league for scoring.
Take it out of the game. We got to take that out of the game, guys. I don't know how we do it, but we got to take that out of the game.
Oh, I hate the Penguins, man. That's just music to my ears. They're a top 3 rivalry for me. I hate them. I want them.
Yeah, but like the thing that goal right there, you just got to take that out of the game, guys. Like that's too much. I can't handle that. Of all the things the league has on its plate, you think they're worried about Tristan Jarry talking about backdoor bank shots counting? They've got lawsuits with CTE to worry about. Like oh my God, man.
Let's hear it one more time. One more time. Here it is.
I don't know how we do it.
How you take that out of the game, but I don't think you should be allowed to stand there and just let the guy shoot off you. I don't think you take that out of how you take that out of the game, but
Made it 2-1. Way suck his skate out there.
I don't know how you take that out of the game, but
I don't know.
Unbelievable.
We gotta take it out. We gotta take it out of the game.
Something about this.
He shouldn't be allowed to just stand there.
We gotta take it out of
Remember that the next time the Sens let in a backdoor tap in. Hey, Eric Branson would be an NHL superstar if you took that out of the game. He can never tie up the guy backdoor.
Of all the things in hockey that we should be worried about, this guy is like, we gotta take this one out of the game.
Not headshots, not everyone wearing neck guards, not fighting, not anything. Take out backdoor tap-ins for Tristan Jarry.
You can't just shoot off your own player. I don't get it. We gotta take this out of the game. I don't know how we do it. We gotta make sure we can't do that.
He should have taken a page. He should have taken a page out of Nate's girlfriend's quote last night, just saying, "I don't want to talk about it."
Guys, I don't know how we do it.
Hey,
that's gold, man. That's so good.
That's the best.
Tristan, I'm sorry, pal. You're gonna have to deal with that for the rest of your career.
Yeah, I just want to play the EA Sports one. It's in the game. My favorite part. I literally said that right as I said it. That's great.
My favorite part is him going, "I don't know how we do it, but we gotta
think about it.
I don't know how we do it."
Oh, that's amazing. All right, okay. A couple more thoughts on tonight's game. Tyler Kleven's K-Train hit. How'd that look in the rink, Martian? Because, geez, he crushed him.
Dude, it was loud, and the crowd reacted so perfectly because it was like, just classic Tyler Kleven. And it actually ended up coming off. I was sitting with my uncle, really nice like that. I was able to watch the game with him tonight. My uncle Al, great guy, Big Al. We call him Big Al. And I said to him, I go, watch out for 43. He played at UND. He used to be a big hitter, but he hasn't really brought it to the NHL level yet. And then literally 5 minutes later, Kleven did that. And so he made me look good on that one, at least. But yeah, dude, it was a huge hit. Obviously, it brought a reaction out of everybody. I like Kleven deciding not to fight after that hit. He just said, "Hey, that was a clean hit. What do you want me to do? It's part of the game." And sure enough, Ottawa comes out with a power play after that play as well. So it was a 2 for tat. I love that.
It was awesome.
Martian, I got a question for you. You've been boots on the ground a lot this season so far, and you got a bit of a break now. Obviously, World Juniors coming up though, but let's do a little review of what you've felt so far about the Ottawa Senators on home ice. Just kind of every game you've been to, what have you seen? You think this team is? I feel like sometimes when you see it in person, it's a different story. You know what I mean? Than on TV, and we get the broadcast distracting us sometimes with other stuff. But what's your feeling now versus opening night, just watching this team in person? It's a hard question, hard-hitting question.
You know what? I'm thinking really hard about this question because it's true. When you're in the rink, you do get a different feel for what this team is capable of and what the general feeling is in the rink. It makes a big difference. The home opener, I always say, doesn't count because it's always going to be a good vibe and it's going to be a lot of energy, and the team's going to feed off that every time. Tonight was close to a sellout, if not a sellout, I believe. So the crowd being on their side like that was always really good. But I don't know. Jesus, Jack, you've really stumped me here, pal. Because it's one of those.
Hey, we got to get questions like that out of the pod. I don't know how we do it, but we got to get questions like that out of the pod.
I shouldn't be allowed. I shouldn't be allowed to stand here. Shouldn't be allowed to stand here.
We got to get these kind of questions out of here. I don't know how we're gonna do it, but Jack, you got to stop asking me this kind of question. Honestly, though, the team, I've seen them in different games, right? I was there for the St. Louis game where they absolutely dominated. They looked incredible. I was there tonight where they looked really good again. There's been games where I've seen them that they look incredible, and then there's games that I've seen them where they look like a completely different team. I've been saying this over the course of the season. You can tell when this team is going to win and when they're going to lose. And I had no doubt the entire night tonight, even when it came to 2-2, I said, I know this team is hungry for this win, and when they're hungry for the win, they can do it. I think they're a very, very capable team, boys, and it's going to be really fun to watch what they do over the next 50 games, because I think we know now what they are, and I think they're just a solid team, and I think that's all I need to say about it. I think that we have a solid team. I feel solid, and the fans tonight were really good as well. So
okay, the reason I put you on the spot with that, for a reason. I don't know how many games he's been to, but I've heard that other than the game that we saw him at, that Pierre Dorian's been in the building for a few of these games, for a few more than the one game he was at. I wonder what the former GM thinks about seeing this team. I'm just curious about that in general. Like, what does a former GM feel like watching his former team? I think he's been in the building on more than a few occasions as a member of the media with, I forget the outlet he's with right now in Quebec. But what do you guys think he's thinking? Maybe to wrap up with some thoughts, because the core he assembled is turning the corner, but the pieces around them have nothing to do with what he brought in. So it's just really, I'm curious, man. It's a weird spot to be in.
What this core is, they're scoring goals that we just need to get out of the game. I don't know how we do it, but we just need to get them.
I'm processing. By the way, I've been clipping it, and because we didn't listen to the end of the quote. Here we go. Let me just play it one last time. Listen to this.
I don't know how you take that out of the game, but I don't think you should be allowed to stand there and just let the guy shoot off you. And I think it's almost impossible to stop. Like, he gets position on our player and he just parks himself at the back post, and their guy just shoots it off him. It's a tough play, and I think it's not part of hockey.
It's not part of hockey. Was that?
It's quite literally what they teach every kid: is get in front of the net and just stand there, and good things are going to happen for you.
He gets the inside position on our guy is how you get to the net. That's how you score goals.
We gotta take it out of the game. We gotta get
it's not a part of hockey. It's just not. Thank you, Tristan. Appreciate it.
Who saw this from the goalie friendly show too? Like, just absolutely that's how you know how ridiculous that is.
Honestly, I've never laughed so hard on a postcast in my life as I have at Tristan Jarry right now with that quote. I don't know how we get this out of the game, but we gotta get it out of the game.
He should worry about his season 884 save percentage instead of a guy standing back door.
We can't have guys just standing in front of our net. We just can't have that. We just can't. I don't know how we get out of the game. Hey, Tristan, here's an idea. Maybe just tell your defenseman to clear the front of the net.
I'm just posting 5 laughing emojis with that clip on Twitter. I'm keeping it too. I've titled it Jari. We got to get this out of the game.
We got to get this out of the game. We got to get it.
Oh man, we've been on quite the run here at Locked On Senators, and we appreciate the hell out of Lalime's Martian and Jack Richardson for being a part of the Postcast crew. Otherwise, this show would not go on. This ends a 20-day straight with Postcasts and or daily episodes. 20 days straight, 24 podcasts over the last 20 days. We got one day off tomorrow, and then guess what, boys? Next weekend, back-to-back. The next weekend, back-to-back. So the show goes on, and especially in January, we got so much to get to. So the road to 10K continues, as Kieran mentions. We got to meet Kieran, I believe, in Minnesota last year. Hey, great people there in Minnesota. I hope we get to go back there sometime. But the road to 10K is on, and we would not be able to do it without all you guys. Truly, it does mean the world to us that you come to us. I was telling Jack and Martian earlier, like, I'm still shocked that people even care what we think about the Ottawa Senators, but for all the community and everything that you guys bring to the table, it's just a pleasure and an honor to be a part of. So just want to get that in there, because 20 days straight's the longest we've ever gone consecutively. It's a labor of love, and we absolutely love it. So thanks to you boys. Thanks to everyone in the chat. Martian, final thoughts on today's show.
2 games above 500. Very happy with the performance again tonight. 2 games in a row where they looked incredible. Linus Ullmark is looking like Vezina caliber goalie here. He's just got to keep it going. But I mean, I don't want to see any net front goals where, some guy's just standing out in front and getting goals scored on Linus Ullmark out here. I mean, we got to take those goals out of the game. So hopefully the Sens are able to clear the front of the net. And it's so funny, guys. Like that quote, I can't get it out of my head. It's so funny. Tristan Jarry, I'm sorry, pal. I hope you have a nice flight back to Pittsburgh or Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, wherever you're heading here. But
all the best to you. I hope you play hockey the way you love.
All the best, but I hope for his sake they get those out of the game. But the Sens are looking good, and I'm in a great mood. I think we're all in a great mood. I think the Sens they're on the right track here. And they can just keep it going here, heading into this road trip with a good vibe. I think that's what they needed. So I'm happy.
Yeah, me too. Jack, final thoughts from you, pal?
Bring on the Kraken. Can't wait for Tuesday. I've never been more excited, looking forward to Ottawa Senators games than this upcoming road trip. Got to start the 9-game one with 1 win. So it's a gauntlet that they're going through, but I can't be more confident about this team than I am right now. So go Sens, go. We'll see you on Tuesday.
Yeah, we're doing our part here. Pillsy will be boots on the ground this upcoming Thursday, and I'll be boots on the ground December 28th in Winnipeg. That goal from Drake Batherson was so good. Wonder what Tristan Jarry thinks about it.
I don't know how you take that out of the game, but I don't think you should be allowed to stand there and just let the guy shoot off you. And I think it's almost impossible to stop. Like, he gets position on our player and he just parks himself at the back post, and their guy just shoots it off him. It's a tough play, and I think it's not part of hockey.
Sens win 3-2 in overtime.
It's a tough play. It's not a part of hockey.
It's a tough play. Sens win 3-2. Brady Tkachuk gets the OT winner. Let's get some GSGs in the chat after the Sens win their 3rd straight game. Here we go for Lalime, Martian, and Jack Richardson. Check out the Glebe Central Pub, 779 Bank Street. Let them know Locked On Senators sent you. On Sens game days, you'll get 10% off. And we've got the Sens shuttle to and from the CTC for the World Juniors, $20 round trip. All right, that's it for us. We're part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I don't know how you take that out of the game, but I don't think you should be allowed to stand there and just let the guy shoot off you. And I think it's almost impossible to stop. Like, he gets position on our player and he just parks himself at the back post, and their guy just shoots it off him. It's a tough play, and I think it's not part of hockey.